G'day and welcome back to Star Citizen. Today we are taking a look at two ships in one, or rather the same ship in two different forms. And that ship is the Argo MPUV, or Multi-Purpose Utility Vehicle, although it is better known as just the Argo, as that is its traditional name when referred to by SIG or Cloud Imperium Games. Now, this ship is, well, it started out life as being a snub sort of utility ship for the Idris Corvette before it even became a frigate. The whole idea being it is sort of that shuttle that you need in bigger ships that runs to other ships, runs to planetside, and basically carries people and goods wherever the bigger ship itself can't go. And at the moment, we have these two variants of the ship. We'll be getting a third search and rescue variant later, but that one isn't currently ready for the game. Now, the whole point of the ship, if we look in here, is you'll see you've got the cockpit, you've got this big sort of structure on top with the docking ring and then the thrusters, and then the pod of whatever it's carrying is sort of its own thing suspended underneath, very much like the Sky Crane helicopters. Now, that is basically what it gives it a lot more utility, though at the moment you can't swap the pods, they are two distinct ships. But that'll be a nice thing to have in future. But anyway, let's have a look at what we actually get for the ship. That is the cargo variant over there, which, well, as is kind of explanatory by the name, has a cargo pod underneath, I can't speak. This one here is the transport variant, which has a pod that looks very much like a Javelin escape pod for carrying passengers or crew. So we'll have a closer look at the ship. Here is the cockpit. The visibility is not great, but it's not bad for a utility ship. I actually really love the design aesthetic for this ship in general. I mean, it just looks great. So I don't know if you'll be able to read this, but we've got an Argo Astronautics Builders plate just right there. It says the model is the MPUV, we got a chassis number and the year 2032, which I'm going to assume is incorrect, as otherwise that means this ship is over 900 years old, which is quite incorrect. But yeah, so we'll move around. Oops, slight stutter there. And so here's the thrusters. You'll have to excuse moving around in EVA. I wanted to not get these ships stolen by other players given there's no security, so I've landed them in a section of Port Olisar where there's no gravity. But yeah, so this is the escape pod, as you can see underneath. Just look around the engines. The engines rotate forwards when they're flying, so you'll see there's the actual thrust exhaust right at the back there. Oh, and I actually nudged it, whoops. But yeah, that could be problematic. But then you've got, I definitely didn't mean to do that, but yeah, they're pretty lightweight. But yeah, the pod inside, if we open it up, this has become even more difficult. Let's just try and arrest that motion if possible. Nope, it's not going to work. But yeah, inside there, you can just about see there's 8 seats, so I'm just going to leave that going. This is the fun of doing these videos in an alpha. But yeah, there you go. Different perspective of the MPUV there. But yeah, it's got an 8-seat pod in there. So that's not bad. That's basically a full crew for certain ships. But this is the other one I wanted to look at, which is the cargo variant. Now, this one is, well, you can tell the pod's different. It's much squarer. Now, if you open the side door here, it opens like a white van's does. It just sort of pops out and slides to the back, revealing a cargo bay where you've got a chair, central chair, that's just a single one, and then you've got the actual cargo bay there. Whoops, I think I nudged this one as well. Yeah, so this is the cargo bay. It's more spacious than the other one is. You've got a button here to actually open the ramp, and it goes down pretty flat. Whoop. Of course, there's no gravity, so I just walk straight out of the ship's gravity to nothing, which is kind of amusing. But yeah, you see, this one has got a lot more room in it. But you'll also notice there's no way to get to the cockpit aside from actually getting into it directly, which I kind of like. So let's just shut that back up. And you've got, there's a door on either side, which will duck out. A bit glitchy because we're in EVA. And there we go. So you get in the Argo via a folding door. So if we just get into the right position, the door folds forwards, and then we can slip inside. as he grabs on, tucks himself into the chair, door closes behind us, and there we go. Now, this is where you can see, yeah, the visibility is not great, but I kind of think it suits this ship. I mean, it's nothing fancy, but the ship is nothing fancy. It's just, you know, it's a utility vessel for doing all sorts of things. Let's just get ourselves moving. I don't know why there's an EMP charge thing going off. That's a bit unusual, especially given we don't have one of them, and I'm pretty sure you can't use them around Olisar. But yeah, the ship flies around quite nicely. If I just quieten up a bit, you'll hear it actually sounds almost sort of like a TIE fighter in a way. And I kind of like that. I like that sound. It's different to some of the other ships we've got, which is good. But yeah, on the topic of the visibility, I like having all the HUD as physical elements. Pretty much, you've got those screens right on the top there. Let's just slow to a stop for a second, or slow down. But yeah, let's just put it into pre-flight mode, so then we can't go too fast anyway. But yeah, so the thing you have to say about this ship from the start is it has no quantum drive. So you cannot get anywhere in this ship on its own. It needs a carrier ship to get anywhere. That's why at the moment you're pretty much restricted to flying it around Olisar, or just, you know, flying it around Grim Hex if you spawn it there, and flying around the asteroid belt in Yella. But that's the only two locations, given we don't have any ships big enough to carry an Argo otherwise. The Starfarer is big enough to fit one in the cargo bay, but the cargo bay door is too small, so the Argo won't actually fit inside, which is a shame. So this ship is, at the moment, definitely a ship that you want to get in future. You don't want to get this ship now unless you have a ship that you can carry it around in, because otherwise, well, you're pretty much restricted to the one place. I mean, that's part of the reason why it was the price it was. I just crashed because I'm not used to flying with the Xbox controller. I've been flying pretty much exclusively with the oh, I gotta stop sounding like that and sounding so unsure of myself. But yeah, that's pretty much the only thing you can do in this ship. I've been flying with the X55 mostly, so I'm a bit out of practice. Let's just get to some externals of the ship as we fly around. So let's just get the view right. I need to find the right view that works for the controller. And so this, you can see here's the engines in their folded up state. There's some sort of engine flickering. It's like not amazing, but it's kind of nice. Like I said, this ship has a very utilitarian feel to it, and I do very much like that. I feel it suits the ship quite well. Let's just have a pan around here. But yeah, so if I put the gear down, will it let me even put the gear down right now? I might be in the wrong flight mode. There we go. You can see the engines rotate like that, and then the gear extends. So it's pretty simplistic, but then again, it suits the ship. But anyway, that is the Argo Astronautics MPUV. It's not available for sale generally, but it was $35 when it was, and it should be again sometime soon. It's very much a ship you want to get if you've got another ship to use it with. Otherwise, don't worry about it. There are better uses for your money, like for example the Aurora, which can already do everything this one can and fly around. And I apparently glitched into the station there, so I think this is time to end. I'm Denodon, this is Star Citizen, safe landings.